Well, it's about that time. Good evening, everyone. You are listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Joining me in the studio tonight are my good friends from the 5x5 Network, brand new channel on YouTube. You guys got to check it out. And the JoJo's, another great channel you need to check out. Some interesting ladies. Let me tell you, they have been doing some incredible investigation into the death of Senator Linda Collins Smith and more. You know that there's so much corruption going on down in Arkansas, and these girls have their fingers on the pulse. So we're going to get into all this and more. I swear you do not want to miss it. This is going to be an incredible show. We will be right back for all of this after a quick word from our sponsor. If you haven't picked up a Patriot portable solar bank yet, now is the time to do so with 20% off this holiday season. With the riots occurring in Hong Kong, California threatening to shut down the power grid from electricity overload, and illegal immigrants flooding into our country, the future of America and the stability of its power grid are not promised, and neither is your safety. One of the best things you can invest in for protection when the lights go out is a solar power bank. So why not purchase one of the best solar banks on the market, the Patriots Solar Bank? You'll never waste money on batteries again. The Patriot Power Bank is solar powered. With a dual USB port, you can charge up to 2 devices at once. You can charge your phone anywhere, anytime with the solar powered USB port. Users have reported this solar bank to be an all-in-one lifesaver and wouldn't go anywhere without it. It's lightweight but very durable, compact but great for handling all emergencies. The Patriot Solar Bank is the perfect gift for you and your family this holiday season. Limited supplies last, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Please visit patriotsolarbank.com and use the code REDPILL20 for 20% off. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please, if you want to support the show, you guys can go to my sponsor right there, patriotsolarbank.com. Use the code REDPILL20, get 20% off, and get one for you and your family. Now, without further ado, I would like to please ask everyone to give a very warm welcome to my friends Abe and C's in Pixels from the brand new 5x5 channel. Soko is potentially going to be joining us in a little bit. She was on the line and she dropped off. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man.
Pixels?
Doing awesome. Good, great to be here.
Excellent, dude. Glad to have you both here. So like I said, hopefully Soko is able to join us. Abe, you've got a couple things you want to say specifically, dude. So tell us, what is 5x5?
Well, it's just we want to bring something different to the presentation and just kind of do our own thing, and that's really what it's about. It is about kind of teaming up as one and coming together and doing just something a little different, trying to step up a notch as far as presentation and set the trend for what can be done as far as in the future. Now, that's a big task to take, right? Because a lot of people do different things and are really well, but we want to do it just a little bit different. So I just want to talk a little bit about the network real quickly, and I really appreciate your time, man. Really doing this. It's much love to you all out there. I really appreciate everyone out there. We're all in this together. And I think we all do a good job of trying to lift each other up. So for your time to give me to do this, I really do appreciate it, Red Pill. Thank you for doing that.
No, it's not a problem, dude. I am very happy to help. And just so everybody knows, you can get to the website and to the 5x5 channel by going to the description below this video.
Appreciate that very much. Also, there's a link bundle for everyone out there to find everything easily. We are restreaming on multiple platforms, so you can find us there. When you go to 5x5 Network, the page shows up here is this page here, and I just want to quickly kind of go through it all, show you how it's just a simple page talking about the channel, talking about who is all here. The schedule page shows who's all part of the schedule, and let's just quickly get straight to that. And I was hoping that we could get more of the team in the house, but with all the problems today, it's just amazing how we're having all of these technical problems today on the weekend before FISA class. I'm sure that's a coincidence.
Oh, yeah, of course. Total coincidence.
Total coincidence, right? Discord having problems, Zoom having problems, and the rest. It's nothing to see here. Just they're not. It's just an accident. cross country show. Soko, who is keeps bouncing out on Zoom. We're all having problems today. It's another one of those days. Soko and Chano have a morning show from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, and they really they have a lot of fun together. If you guys are in for a lunchtime kind of just hang out, have fun, they really do have fun with each other. They joke around. They got different news items that they talk about that are breaking for the morning and stuff that's important for the day that they think is important from you, from that southern kind of hick kind of redneck. No, just kidding. I'm a northerner. I can't help myself. I'm just kidding. They're really good people. They're fun to be around. It's a really fun show. So check them out from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. We got Gary on there from Patriot Reload doing his show from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, starting the afternoon kickoff. And you guys know Gary. Gary does his thing. Very original perspective, very passionate about what he talks about, brings the perspective of my pastor, right? My person from a moral ground of understanding what the bigger picture is with the part of the news that's happening in that day. Does a great job of news. You guys all know Patriot Reload, and Gary does a great job. He's from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. We got the new guard with 412 and Seasoned Pixels. Pixels, tell me a little bit about your show with 412 from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern.
Well, 412 and I we just want to focus on the latest and greatest news, the stuff that's going to be the most hard hitting for the deep state, and as well as Q posts that have come in throughout the week and kind of analysis of those. And my personal goal, really, like I just hope that if younger people see me doing this, I'm only 23 years old.
Baby face.
Yeah, big time. A lot of people say, man, you look like you're 12. But no, I am 23. But, I just hope that younger people who see me doing this, it just gives them a little bit of a push, because we know that there's so much stigma, especially in what they see about all of this information. And, they have the conspiracy theory narrative just thrown down their throat. So I just hope that younger people seeing a young guy doing this, it just encourages them to seek the truth.
It's not just a bunch of boomers.
Yeah, it's not just a bunch of boomers. Exactly.
I'm counting myself in that because I'm over 40.
I know there's a lot of us that are over 40, but yeah. It is because we see the writing on the wall of us watching our country fall away from us and feel the need to stand up. Soko has popped back in. Laura, can you give us a summary of your show with Chano, besides the fact that it's a redneck hick show?
Well, it's a redneck hick show, and I love it. And listen, have you ever seen the Rick and Bubba in the morning? Like Rick and Bubba. Rick, there's like a kind of comedy, like get you to work.
No,
it's a bit of humor.
I'm never in the car that early, so.
Well, I used to have to drive into Nashville like every day, so I'd listen to it in the morning. So, like, Chano lives in Georgia, I live in Tennessee, so we have that like Southern thing where if he makes me mad or I make him mad, we get over it. We get each other's humor.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I always saw with me and Chano. But yeah, I bring up some wacky news. Like I find the weird stuff. Sure. Like that Jessica Yaviv, where she's now trying to be a gynecologist. Like I'll bring up that story,
Oh, that's a good one.
Or the screaming rescue dog. I mean, I cover serious news too, but I don't mind getting those kind of funnier articles out as well.
No, it's a lot of fun, and if you guys get time to check them out, you will definitely laugh while they hang out with Chano and Soko. Chano was a brother from another mother, another guy who has served in the military. A lot of us have served in the military, and so we kind of bring, we understand the bigger picture of what's happening in our society and are about fed up with it. Well,
yeah, and one last thing, Chano's soundboard will be ran over on I-75 on the side of the interstate. Because that freaking sound thing, Bird says it makes him laugh every time that he hears me. He drives me nuts with that soundboard. But apparently people love it, so I'm let it ride.
Are you talking like air horns and stuff like that?
Oh my God. He's got everything. Okay. Kids clapping I've heard it all. But it makes him who he is. Me complaining about it makes me who I am. And it seems like people kind of enjoy the banter, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of funny, but I'll shut up. Go ahead, Abe.
It is pretty fun, and it's you know, it kind of leaves we need that levity with all of the stuff that we research, right, Red Pill?
Oh yeah,
we
it's
really
dark.
do need that.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't laugh, then people just get too wrapped up in all of this super serious stuff. And I try to do the same thing on this show. I mean, I want to laugh a little bit. I want to have a good time because life may have a lot of darkness and a lot of evil in it, but there's so much good too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we need to celebrate, not just vilify.
I agree. And, there is a lot in life to be thankful for, especially winning the lottery of life, being an American. So no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
My show is uncensored. Those of you who have seen me in the past know I have very little patience for stupid is one way to put it. But the show is more centered on those that have been censored. My goal is to raise the voices for those who have been censored. My goal is to bring interesting topics from others and raise their voice, and bring my interview side of the house from that, and really allow them to just talk. One of the people that's out there that drives me nuts, and God love him, Hannity. The guy does great work, but when he does interviews, he's constantly cutting people off. He's constantly leading the witness. I call it. He's leading the interviewer. Just let the people talk. And so my goal for that is an hour of that on Uncensored from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. I'll also do some deep dive style stuff, not to counter what Radix does on Patriots Soapbox, because she is unbeatable on what she does over there. But occasionally I plan to do overseas military style information from a Marine Corps perspective. So that will be happening as if I can't get guests in the house, you'll see that as well. The Blessed to Teach show, many of you guys know Blessed to Teach. He has a very large following as well, has graciously allowed his word and his knowledge of God as well as perspective of Q to join our channel from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Blessed to Teach does a great job, again, just an original perspective, and that's what we love about our movement. We're all kind of our own people. We embrace the differences between each of us, and our goal is to elevate the conversation and to bring the perspectives that eventually will find truth, right, in the big picture. That's the goal of the 5x5 network.
Right on. Here, let me just make the screen not full screen so that I can get the chat back up here, because I don't know if we've got anybody commenting. Oh yeah, many comments so far. All right, so and one thing that I did want to mention here, Laura, you were instrumental in putting this whole thing together, and people might not be aware, but you were also the driving force behind Patriots Soapbox, and I know that you don't seek the limelight or anything, but I thought that you should definitely get some recognition for that. You want to tell us, what this is all entailed?
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm not about burning bridges. I try to build them. I just feel like with everything coming down the chute, like what's happened to me today on Discord and Gmail and Zoom, they're coming after us. They just are. So building these relationships to me is important. The more citizen journalists that can go out and do this and create their own channels, to me, the better.
Yes.
Because if something happens to you, Red Pill, you're more than welcome over there.
Yes.
I mean, we have to work together.
Absolutely.
So I spent a couple years, I still handle helping the host and trying to run the schedule and stuff. I mean, my heart started there. But so I just saw a need. I kind of wanted to do things on my own. This production thing, Bird has done a lot of work, and he's my best bud. You'll never see him. He's the one in the background. But I just thought if you gave people the ability to kind of produce their own shows, what could they do? Abe is always bringing in great guests. Pixels to me is important because he's so young. He's just basically got out of the education system. Who better to tell you about it?
Right.
And I mean, so it's kind of a mixed bag. Me and Chano are just the goofballs, so, so it's just, it to me, I think there should be more. And then if something happens to one of us, come over. We'll help you,
Right.
And so that's just kind of basically my thought on it, was just the more, the merrier.
I also... Oh, go ahead.
Well, just real quick, big picture wise, the goal is for... We have a lot of stuff in the background that if the major deplatforming thing happens, there are plans in the background with the whole community to unite. So they're never going to stop us. And one last quick thing before I just want to play the intro to 5x5 Red Pill, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time here. On a Monday, we are going to have a marathon broadcast. Season Pixels is going to hang out when he can. He's got a work schedule that's driving him nuts right now. Laura will be there when she can. All of the hosts will be there at some point during the day on Monday. But here's what we're going to do. You guys know what's happening on Monday. The OIG Files Abuse Report is going to be happening declassified on Monday. So you guys can check us over there. You can probably check out a pre-broadcast around, 11, 10, 12. So if you can, highlight subscribe to the channel, hit the alert button so when we do go live. But what we're going to do is we're going to read the whole damn thing. That's right. We're going to read it all. We're going to try to bring in Q posts that remind everyone how Q aligns with these things, and then remind us, again, it's been so long since a lot of us have studied this stuff, Red Pill. It's going to be a chance to remind us of all of the Q proofs that we're going to get out of this report, which is likely to be a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite expansive. Reading the whole thing, geez, oh, Pete, how many pages is it going to be? I mean, I joked that I was going to read it on the live stream, but I mean, I'm maybe an hour. No way I'm going to read through the whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. It's going to be a marathon broadcast. It's about 500 to 700 pages. So there's going to be, but you know how it goes, man. There's pages of stuff that you don't necessarily have to read every single word. And we're going to look for keywords in the document and keyword it with Q post. And we have a whole list. Break Inspector has done a great job of aligning us with the Q posts that align to it. We got some articles lined up. He's going to read before that we go live. Or before we go to the reading before it's released. So a lot of stuff. And it's such an important story, right? What's up, Methods? Good to see you out there, brother.
Yep. Hey, Methods. And
it's such an important news story, right? That they are trying so hard to distract from it. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen.
Right.
And I'm going to cap this off. Sorry, I know.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm just saying that I know. Listen, dude, it's supposed to be like 500 freaking pages. Okay, so I am and plus we're going to try to tie stuff to it. I get it, but we're going to try. And if it takes a couple days, 3 days, it's the nice thing about 5x5 is we only do the 1 day a week, but we can open it up anytime. So. Yeah, it's going to be a doozy, but we're in it to win it.
All right,
it's a tall order, but we're going to fill it.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, I just want you to know I put the link to the website. I put the link to the YouTube channel, and it looks like my next guests are here, but the camera is on the side, girls.
So if I could just take up 2.5 minutes of your time before they get to roll here, and then we will let you go. I'll just bug out right after the end of the intro.
Yeah, go ahead.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for spending time with here. Much love to Amy Freeman and friends over there. Thank you all for all you have done, and God bless you all out there in chat as well. See you guys on Monday on 5x5.
Thank you, and bless you guys as well. That was pretty slick, you guys. Good job. Good job. Awesome. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for stopping by, you guys. I'm very happy that we were able to put this out there. Everybody listening in the chat, if you can, please go subscribe to 5x5. If you don't have a YouTube channel or a station or an account, then just go to the website and watch the programs. So thanks a lot, Abe. Thanks a lot, Pixels. I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Thanks so much, Red Pill.
No problem, brother.
Thanks, brother. Have a great show today. And Amy and you guys, God bless you all. Thank you for what you're doing for us on here in this front.
Thanks, Abe. I think they're muted. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
What does that mean?
Hey, JoJo's, did you get your camera sorted out?
Yeah, we don't see you. We just see the screen.
You guys are muted now, and your camera's off. So you have to ask, I'm going to ask you to start your video. That should ask you to start your video. And you're muted. So you're going to have to unmute. Well, guys, while they're getting their technical issues sorted out, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to who they are. I'm going to give you their channel in the chat box as well. You can check them out, JoJo's for Justice, and they are on YouTube. Here is the link to their YouTube channel. And then I'm also going to give you a link to their Twitter accounts as well. So we've got AmyJo and Shelly-Jo. So first here is Shelly-Jo's Twitter. Hey, there you go. There you go, girls. Can you?
Okay. Yeah. We're a hot man.
This is what live television is like. You know, it just happens sometimes.
The JoJo's from Arkansas. Can we do our intro?
Yeah, do your intro, please. Tell the audience who you are.
This is our cute little set. First off, I'm Shelly-Jo. And I'm AmyJo. And we're the JoJo's for Justice.
That's great. That's great. Before we get into this, I need to do a couple of quick thank yous to the audience. Dylan McConnell says, name of the lady selling chlorine dioxide. I don't know. I don't know about that one, Dylan. Thanks for your super chat, though. Frank says, kudos for Jesse Waters for giving the masses information about QAnon and a platform for the Great Awakening on national TV. It came off well. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I'm going to watch the replay later. Then Baby Yoda, my favorite Star Wars character, is here as well. Thank you for that, Baby Yoda. And Lisa Warren said, thanks, RP78. Appreciate all of your hard work. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone who is here in the audience. We've got about 1,700 people watching right now. If everybody could please do me a favor, remember to like and share this video on your favorite social media platform. Let's get some people in here tonight. We've got a big show lined up for you. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the murder of Senator Linda Collins Smith and so much more. So you girls are researchers and radio show hosts, journalists down there in Arkansas. We know how corrupt it is in Arkansas. So why don't you tell me about yourselves, and then let's see what this story about Linda Collins Smith has brought up.
Okay. So a little bit of background on the JoJo's. We call it divine intervention. It's a God thing. I was picked. I'm a 45-year-old single mom, and went through a tragedy in my life about 3 years ago. Lost everything and got divorced and had to move in with my 11-year-old daughter with my parents. That's where we're broadcasting for. This is our set that we podcast from and have been since February. And I've always been passionate. I was going to go to law school, have a degree. I was paralegal for years, ended up getting in the resort business, blah, 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 tragedy struck. This is where I'm at. 45 years old, starting my life over a year and a half ago. A local radio host, Dave Ellswick, who's a legend in Arkansas, 101.1 The Answer, one of my dear friends. We sold the resort and tapped me to do a brand new groundbreaking show, an all women's power panel show, and ended up being called The Right View, as the play on words to The View. And I started doing that once a week as soon as I moved in with my parents, and then the waitress who was also at a radio show. That's crazy, I know. But we're crazy. So anyway, she was a fan of the show, and we met through all the live when I was doing the radio show. And my plan was always politics, run for Senate one day, to fight this kind of stuff. Never happened. we met, told Dave about her. Next thing we know, I said, well, we need an alternate because our women, there was 3 of us, and there was always someone that couldn't be there. And he said, well, just have her come on. So she came on. He asked her to be permanent. We did that together then. I did it for about 9 months, 10 months. She came on probably the last 4 months of our show. And we went too hard. We've been lifelong Republicans our whole lives. We are Trumpicans, of course. But we apparently went too hard against the deep state, so-called Republican establishment in Arkansas, meaning our current governor, Asa Hutchinson, who, man, do we have tea to spill about him and all the antics and shenanigans he did. And we didn't even go to the whole depths of the kind of stuff you can't talk about on radio. We just went at him from a political, they play the politics on the radio type thing. And him not adhering to our Second Amendment, him raising taxes on his home. It was all surface level stuff that in reality, that's what they want you to fight about while deep state's busy doing things to really mess you up. It's all smoke and mirrors. And our show ended because of that. We spoke out way too much against the Republicans because we were truthers. And we decided, we talked about doing a podcast on our own, and like I said, she came on the show. Then I got contacted by the United States Patriot Commission, which is a brand new commission, which is brilliant, and been podcasting for her since. Brought her on with me as my co-host, but to be the host of a weekly podcast featuring the focal point being the Boys on the Tracks case, which is the famous 1987 internationally famous Boys on the Tracks case, for whom it was Kevin Ives and Don Henry who were brutally murdered on those tracks that night. This goes back to Mena, Arkansas, Barry Seals, drug trafficking, Iran Contra. Linda Ives, the mother of Kevin Ives, she and I had already become friends. My father-in-law actually was my ex-father-in-law, the grandfather of my child, was a U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Arkansas during all that. While Asa, our current governor now, was the U.S. attorney for the Western District of Arkansas back then in the 80s during MENA, which he could have stopped and prevented Kevin Ives and Don Henry from getting murdered, but he didn't. And my father-in-law worked in the Eastern District of Arkansas as a U.S. attorney. And the 2 guys named from second one for killing those boys still sticks to this day. Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane. Okay, there were 2 Pulaski County sheriff's deputies at the time. Turns out my father-in-law was best friends with them. He was the one, the Boys on the Tracks was his case at the U.S. Attorney's office in Little Rock. Okay, that was his baby. He talked to Linda Ives all the time. We're going to get him, Linda. We're going to get him, Linda. Now, mind you, I'm 13 at this point. I didn't know he was going to be my future father-in-law and ex-father-in-law and grandfather of my child. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. And then I ended up marrying his son years later. I find out he had a deer camp with guess who?
With the killers.
Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell.
And just to remind everybody, the Boys on the Tracks, those were a couple of little boys who came upon the drug operation at Mena Airport. Barry Seal was flying in the cocaine.
Not at Mena. That was when Barry Seal was flying in drugs at Mena, but they were doing drops in different counties before Mena, before you get to Mena. So this was actually in Bryant, Arkansas, Alexander, at the railroad tracks. And that's where the Mena, yes, Barry Seal said he would go on to Mena, but he was dropping cash and he was dropping cocaine.
And the police were picking it up?
And there was a pickup that night, and the boys were at the wrong place at the wrong time. And guess who's our current, now remember, Asa Hutchinson, our current governor, who's so-called Republican, who undermines Trump at every turn on MSNBC. We want to puke, right? Like, kill me now. Okay. Yeah. So he's our current governor. He was the U.S. attorney at the time, appointed by Reagan. Okay. 82 to 86, right? But at the behesting of none other than George H.W. Bush. Okay. He had Mena in his, literally all the drug, which is still going on, by the way. And we've read and covered all kinds of drug operations going on in the state now, but that's a whole nother day. but he had completely stonewalled that entire investigation. Barry Seals got down and murdered in Louisiana because of the federal government. I mean, it was a hit. Our government's the mafia. That's what we tell people.
Yeah.
At the same time, my soon-to-be father-in-law back then in the 80s, Bob Govar, Robert J. Govar, is literally heading the grand jury. He's like, you go to every, he's in every memo and everything on Boys on the Tracks. And he's telling Linda Ives during the week, we're going to get the killers, Linda, we're going to get them. And on the weekend, he's going to deer camp that he owns a deer camp with the two killers, the two alleged killers from Second One. And Kirk Lane, who's the main of the two, he's a level 10 narcissist evil, scariest one alive. And like, literally, like, he's the one that probably you'd be more terrified of him than Bill Clinton. I think Amy would agree. We figured out than the Clintons, you'd be more terrified of. We're like, tell us the most dangerous one, and we're going for him. We're fearless. Guess what? He's our current drug czar of Arkansas.
Oh, how ironic! I mean, it's not too.
Years ago, Asa Hutchinson appointed him as our drug director. He went to the State of the Union with who was our Senator Bozeman. All the Republicans here are Republican in name only. What has happened is they have the Democrats, the mafia, and let me tell you, the same bird, two wings. That's all it is, y'all. And they've infiltrated the Republican Party in Arkansas and taken it over because Asa Hutchinson, our current governor right now, is Clinton machine, always has been, always will be. So is Kirk Lane. And Bozeman, our senator, had the nerve to take Kirk Lane to our State of the Union. Also, when Eric Bowling, we talked a lot. In fact, the last show we were on Dave Bell's week, we said we were going to do a new show on human trafficking. There was a lady from the nationwide corporate there that day. And, you know, everybody talks about human trafficking before Linda Collins. I mean, you're gone, right? Eric Bowling's son. Dead, right?
Wait a second. Could you repeat that? You said that Eric Bowling's son was speaking out on human trafficking, and then
Eric Bowling was, but his son got a fentanyl laced.
Yeah, he took a fentanyl laced Xanax.
Yeah.
So he spoke out. He spoke out against human trafficking, and the next thing you know, his son is a victim of.
And tell him. Well, I'll let Amy speak now, and tell him what we sat there and watched one night with Kirk Lane, the governor, and Eric Bowling talking about opioid addiction, and they're the ones that cause the opioid addiction.
Yeah. Is that what's the?
If Eric Bowling only knew.
Is it the classic? Was it the Hegelian dialectic where you cause
problem reaction solution? Yeah.
Right. So you've got the CIA rogue operation in Mena dropping cocaine. And now it's morphed into the opioid crisis, and you've got, poor Eric Bowling, and he's sitting on the stage.
He comes to Little Rock. We got Eric Bowling, Asa Hutchinson, and Kirk Lane doing a town hall about opioid addiction and the opioid crisis, and it's just so sick to watch because. And by the way, Kirk Lane has not just been accused of murder once. He's been accused of murder twice. Keith McCaskill, who was at the tracks that night, he was called in by Keith Coney, who fled on the motorcycle when he watched Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell pull up and start beating the tar out of Don Henrik. Can you see us, Red Pill? He took off on his motorcycle and went to Keith McCaskill's bar that he managed, right? And says, man, and he knew exactly who Lane and Campbell were, and tells them, hey, man, they pulled out and they started doing this to Kevin and Dawn. So Keith McCaskill flees his work, goes to the tracks. That's how he ends up there that night. Of course, the deep state people try to implicate Keith as being in on the murders. That's not true. We've discovered that. Anyways, he goes down there to see what's going on. He was murdered 6 months later, stabbed 113 times.
Wow.
They had masks on. I mean, y'all, we can't make this up. And the two people alleged in those murders were Kirk Clayton and Jay Campbell. And by the way, 3 months leading up to Keith McCaskill's murder, he went on record with everybody he knew in Saline County, Arkansas, the belly of the beast, okay? Everybody he knew, and said, Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell are following me. Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell are harassing me. Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell are going to kill me. If I end up dead, Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell did it. Now, he ended up dead. And let me tell you, they framed the neighbor kid across the street that was a wiry, skinny thing. Keith McCaskill was a huge bouncer, a bit like 270, 6'4", big guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Frame him, who was partly autistic, had some kind of a mental retardation. The kid goes to jail, goes to prison for a little while. Guess what? They come back, say he was framed. They overturned the conviction. They let him out. And who's the killers now, right?
Right.
Who's the killers? This is our current drug czar. But the last show we did was almost a year ago to the day on the Dave Ellswick show. And we brought up, and there was a lady from corporate sitting in that day, and we brought up that we were going to do a show on human trafficking. And we had already been going hard on the governor. He would come in, a spokesperson would come in the hour before us every day. He hated our guts. The governor got to where he would always come in once a month. After Shelly-Jo and I just started on there, governor didn't show up anymore, did he? And we went hard after every Republican. But the Republicans in the state, so-called Republicans, were so bad, we didn't have time to talk to the Democrats, And because it was just insane what they've been doing in our state. And we're talking surface level politics stuff, Second Amendment, things like that people argue about every day. But then our show ends, gets canceled. I get hired by the Patriot Commission. They even listed Linda Ives. I'm like, oh my God, I know her. I reached out to her. My father-in-law died a year and a half ago. I finally reached out to her. I said, he was friends with Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane all the time, this whole time. My only currency was my daughter. Nobody's going to take my daughter from me. He tried to take my daughter from me when me and my husband split, and he used his power. And that's when I realized I learned a lot of things about him. And I thought, I'm not going to talk to Linda Ives, talk to her until after he dies. And we started talking, and then the commission hired me to host the podcast, interview Linda Ives. She got really ill. Things went on, and so we took a different turn, and I got a co-host. And so basically getting back to how we started, and I just happened to be named Shelly-Jo. She just happened to be named Amy-Jo. So we're the JoJo's for Justice, right? It's a God thing. Basically, God threw this opportunity in front of us and said, I know for me especially, you got nothing to lose, Shelly. I mean, I say I'm at rock bottom. Well, I didn't see it that way. I just made the best out of my situation because I know what kind of hell I've been through in my life. And that's all.
Life gives you lemons, you make.
And I've seen dark places, and I was just going to be embracing having to live with my parents. I mean, you're here, why not, right? And he said, Shelly, you got nothing to lose. You don't have a cushy job that can be taken from you for speaking out. You don't have a big house with a mortgage. You've literally lost everything. I have a Tahoe with a full tank of gas that might be worth $800 to $1,000 if I have a full tank. Like, that's it. So I have nothing to lose. Why not? And he said, Shelly, if you're going to do it, you go full force. You run towards it or you run away from it. There's no in between. And I ran towards it, went to Amy-Jo. She did the same thing. And here we are all these months later. We started in February. Our friend and our Senator, Linda Collins, wasn't murdered until the end of May. And
so were you were already friends with Linda Collins prior?
She was very good friends.
Okay. So Amy-Jo, how long did you know Senator Collins for, and how did you know her?
Okay. Well, I didn't start. I've always been the, pull the lever down the list for R. Okay. And
back up and tell them you're not from Arkansas.
I'm not from Arkansas. My dad's retired military. I actually grew up in Delaware on the East Coast. He retired at Dover Air Force Base. And I met my husband in Colorado. We were both in the Army. We got out. He's from here, so we moved here. That's how I ended up here in Arkansas. So I didn't know the political landscape. In fact, we got here in 2008. Oh, let's vote for Asa Hutchinson, the Republican governor. And so, and
Let's
then,
start the two evils.
yeah, okay. So, and then I didn't start getting involved in local, state. I've always been involved on the federal level. I've always been, I might be a registered Republican, but I'm a conservative. But I started getting involved in the local state politics in about January, February of 2018. I went to, we had a Trump Day dinner. The Republican Committee does their big fundraiser every year to raise money for local candidates to go to the General Assembly in Little Rock. And I went to the Trump Day dinner, and Linda was there to introduce the keynote. And I heard her speak when she introduced the keynote speaker, and I was like, I want to talk to this lady afterwards. She's my senator. I've never met her. She was the District 19 senator. And so I went up to her, and she was currently involved in her reelection campaign because the primaries were going to be in May, I believe. So I went and introduced myself to her, and I said, I want to do whatever I can to help your reelection campaign. So we exchanged phone numbers. And then one day I got a call from a lady named Ronisha, and she asked me if possibly I might be interested in coming down to Linda's reelection headquarters to pass out push cards, pass out signs, take donations, make calls, trying to get other people to get involved. And so that's how I met Linda. She started coming by her reelection headquarters. Of course, Rebecca O'Donnell's her right-hand lady. When they went places together, she kind of.
And just so everybody remembers, is that the woman who's currently accused of murdering her?
Yes, and I don't believe for a minute that this lady did that.
No, of course. It sounds suspect to me, too, but just so that everyone knows what we're talking about.
So shortly after I met Linda, she started coming around the headquarters, and I did some things. We went to some events, and we walked, parades, and walked through, passing out push cards and knocking on doors and encouraging them to vote for Linda for, because she had her candidate, the candidate that was running against her was James Sturch. Big time Rana, and can I say this? Big time Asa ass kisser. Can I say that?
Sure.
You can so say that.
Okay.
And by the way, they're the ones who got her ousted out of her seat. They put all their money behind their handpicked.
I'm gonna send you. My husband came across. I don't know if he came across it or he personally went to the Secretary of State site, but he found a list of not like personal donors, but cities and how much money were donated to James Sturch's campaign. Mm-hmm. We're talking some of these cities aren't even in the district. I think one of them, and forgive me, this is off the top of my head, Little Rock. We're talking an hour and a half away from the Batesville area, which is the county seat for Independence County, probably the biggest city in the district. It was like $43,000 coming from out of district, pouring into this guy's campaign against a proven conservative. And he has the audacity to have a billboard right across the street from his high school where he graduated in Southside. James Sturch, proven conservative, my ass.
Here's the thing. This is why this is important. Okay, leading up to the juice of Linda Collins and particulars about a murder and breaking news. Brand new breaking news. You're going to hear right here tonight. In fact, we podcasted prior to this. We told you, Red Pill, just prior to we wrapped our podcast 26, prior to coming on with you, where we broke news. However, they're recorded, so they haven't been uploaded to YouTube yet or SoundCloud, but we broke news on it. This is important to lay the groundwork as to deep state why Linda Collins, the background of Linda Collins, why she was hated by it. Listen, Asa Hutchinson can't get any more than Clinton Machine. Okay. I mean, he's carried their water all these years. H.W. Bush, that whole connection.
Ladies, I'm sorry to interrupt. People are thinking I'm going to get a copyright strike because you've got the Fox News Live in the background. Is that possible to turn off that TV? Thank you. And
sure.
while you're doing that, I'm just going to do a couple of quick more thank yous to the audience. Chung Lo says, rockin' on good people, opposition peeps afraid of citizens' resistance, keep America great past the 2020 election funsies, and Eddie Mitchell just gave a super chat. Thank you, Eddie. Okay, so this is background on why Linda Collins was so hated and was probably taken out by the deep state.
Because the fact that her murder is about so much more than just one person. This is deep state that killed and murdered our friend and our senator. Her murder's related to the Epstein stuff that came out.
Really? Okay.
Oh, you didn't know that? Okay, so you haven't seen our podcast. We podcast, yes. So let's go before we break the news. I mean, we may be breaking news to your audience on. Well, apparently that was breaking news to you. That we broke that news back in, July?
I mean, I know about the subject matter, but I didn't know that it had been specifically connected to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. Okay. So let me just tell you what all we've uncovered since the murder.
Yeah.
You want to start there?
Go through it. Go through it. We've got another hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. We cannot be more confident. This is November. She was murdered at the end of May, found at the end of May, first part of June. Everything we reported that back then, there's so much that has come out, and we'll get to it. But since then, that only bolsters what all we've reported. Literally everything's coming together. And bolsters our sources and how solid they are. There was a computer, okay? Basically, it had... Okay.
This is Linda Collins Smith's computer? This is Linda's computer?
Well, no, it wasn't her. She found it. It was her husband, Judge Phil Smith.
Okay.
Now, okay, listen. So the county, where Henry Boyce and all them are, her husband was a judge there for years and years, right? Correct. He got disrobed earlier. That it was January, I think, of this year. January, February of 2019, this year, right? Prior to her murder.
He was disrobed just prior to her murder.
About 4 months prior to her murder.
Did she have anything to do with his being disrobed?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. Child pornography on his computer.
Wow.
Well, I was just gonna say, in the divorce, he was deposed, and that information came out in the deposition for the divorce proceedings. He was doing extrajudicial activities on his computer.
We confirmed it was child pornography.
Oh, so this was an official computer. It wasn't just like a personal computer. This is like his computer that he was issued to be a judge. Okay.
In his chambers, not the computer we're talking about that she found.
Oh, okay.
The computer that when he got disrobed, that they found child pornography on. They literally, nobody heard about it. It wasn't in the news. They covered for him, right?
Right.
They just said, you have to promise to never be a judge again. We're taking your robe from you. You can't, they didn't take his law license. You can go be a private attorney, which he is right now. He's a city attorney for Hardy, Arkansas, where I just live. Are we still on? Okay.
Occasionally you will see my camera go out, and it's okay. Don't worry.
It's okay. So that happened. The divorce was very bitter. It was a very bitter divorce. Skip ahead. So she finds in her garage one day, because he had moved out, a computer. Okay. This is the computer. This is a different computer than his judge's chambers computer. Yes. It had everything. Okay. She had been on Child Protection Services and DHS, which is in Arkansas, stands for Department of Human Services, not Department of Homeland Security, right?
Yeah, right.
On them, on their trail for over a year, okay, in regards to Kathy Hall, which we'll talk about later. That's a big part of this case, but also in regards to $28 million missing in our DHS, in the Arkansas DHS bank account.
So
right?
this is Linda had been investigating that for how long? The missing $28 million?
Oh God, over a year. I mean, we've got texts.
I mean,
I've
so-
got
I know
one from-
that there's a hearing. She was the
She's on
chair.
YouTube, yeah.
She was the chair of Senate Judiciary, and so I think there's a you can go on the YouTube and find the hearing where she.
I've seen
was
that.
trying to figure out- yeah, you've seen that. So
Yeah.
So but she had
Cindy
publicly
Gillespie is our-
come out talking about this missing money. Then
Oh,
there was
yeah,
an organized effort to elect the man running against her. And so then nothing came of it.
yes,
Nothing came of it
yes.
because she was voted out of office.
There's an organized effort to go against any conservative in the state of Arkansas.
Any real concern.
They almost got rid of Representative Dan Sullivan. He did win his race. Now he's running for senator in his district, but they've got the incumbent that they're totally backing against him. They got rid of Brian King. He was the one that was trying to reform the Medicaid system. She was trying to close the loopholes on the attorneys trying to make money, basically working for clients, getting legislation passed that would affect, it's so anybody who's trying to curb corruption.
Asa Hutchinson makes sure, and the Republican Party of Arkansas makes sure they get rid of the people who are not there
To play the game.
deep state puppet.
Yeah. People who are not playing the game.
I wanted to make note. Cindy
their
Gillespie. She questioned Cindy Gillespie. Now let's talk about real quick
Now,
who Cindy Gillespie was.
Yes, who was she?
Well, who she now is appointed by our governor Asa Hutchinson as our director of the Department of Human Services
But
of Arkansas. But what did she used to do, Amy Jo?
she worked on Mitt Romney's campaign, and she was his counselor while he was the governor of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Right.
So pretty
Okay.
close to good old Mitt.
Now remember, we've got the Mormon connection, the whole child trafficking with the Marshallese women, the whole thing.
And let's-
in Utah.
What religion is Mitt Romney?
Mormon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cindy Gillespie loses $28 million of our taxpayer money. Governor Hutchinson never fired her. He's never asked her. And mind you, and we say this every week, for nobody in Arkansas. So you think your national media is bought and paid for? Huh.
Oh yeah.
Arkansas, please. They're actors. That's
Now,
what they are. That's what they're deep state. And
Was
they
there-
won't report on it.
was there ever an official explanation for that missing $28 million?
No,
Okay.
sir. She found two. Linda Collins discovered two books. Okay. And these two books she discovered on that computer. It ended up being, after the 28, ended up being 50 million missing, funneled through what we have traced to Panama, which, by the way, Judge Smith, Linda's ex-husband,
Ex-Judge Smith.
we found out after she was murdered, he has a citizenship in Panama. He was down there looking for a home in Panama.
And Belize.
We believe he may have even been in Panama when the murder occurred. Okay,
That would be convenient for him.
right? Panama's a big deal.
Well, before you keep going, when you say Panama, are you talking about like Mossack Fonseca, like the Panama Papers? Is it like that notorious law firm in Panama that the money was funneled into?
The country Panama.
Oh, okay. Well, what was the method by which it was?
One of our sources, who is close to the case, said he paid $25,000 to obtain citizenship.
He's a
in Panama.
I mean, why?
Okay.
But this is the thing. I think Panama has an extradition treaty with U.S. Don't quote me on that, but I think they do.
Okay.
But we're kind of trying to figure out what's going on with the Lees.
Well,
They-
there was, have you heard of the Panama Papers? There was a
Yeah, I
notorious
have.
law firm, Mossack Fonseca, Hillary Clinton, many other powerful people used Mossack Fonseca to set up these shell corporations through which millions, probably billions of dollars was funneled through.
Wasn't Deutsche Bank involved in that as well?
I've heard stuff about Deutsche Bank recently. It would not surprise me. There was like hundreds of thousands of corporations set up through this single law firm.
I know that Panama loves to help people set up offshore bank accounts.
Yes, yeah, it was all through that. So I just wondered if there was a connection to the former judge.
It probably is.
Yeah.
To be honest, we haven't made that connection yet. I am familiar with the Panama Papers. I'm still studying that.
You can go to WikiLeaks and download them, and I believe that you can look up people's names and find them in there. That would be very fascinating to see. Actually, I'm going to do that while we're talking.
So on this computer, we have everything from child pornography to where the missing money in DHS went, Epstein, child trafficking, Clinton Foundation. Okay, everything comes back to the Clinton Foundation. I always say Arkansas is the deepest state of all.
Mm-hmm.
The deep state was conceived and born in Arkansas. We are the dirtiest state in the entire union, hands down. And even we didn't realize that going into these podcasts when we started in February. We started with Boys on the Tracks, and it opened up Pandora's box into all things back then, all the way up till now. Current scandals going on around. We can't even keep up. We're just two people, we don't have staff. And so, we probably got enough work for at least to employ 100 people right now if we could. It's that crazy. But we have a lot of people who help us with research and chat groups and stuff or we couldn't do what we do. But this implicated the Clintons. This computer did.
Before you keep going, can you tell us exactly what on the computer implicated Jeffrey Epstein and what implicated the Clintons? Do you know what was found on that computer to say that, or did Linda just tell you?
Well, this connects to the Kathy Hall thing where her granddaughter was stolen from her. Her and her daughter, and her daughter was murdered by the illegal. And that's a whole nother story because Linda was investigating, and she was going hard over CPS in Arkansas and child trafficking. So this is how it connects to Clinton Foundation, which connects to Epstein. You see where we're going with this, right? She made 3 backups of this computer. Okay. This story, this is what we got from the get-go in June. And I've had at least 2 more sources back this same thing up that don't even know my other source. Okay. So we're talking 3 now. Amy Jo's got 1, if not 2 on her own, right? I think one of them we share a source on. I know one of them we share a source. But we've got these sources that said she made 3 backups. She knew her life was in danger, first of all. She made 3 backups. I'm told one of them went to the Oklahoma senator who was murdered.
What was his name again?
Suicide. They say
Jonathan Nichols.
Jonathan Nichols. Okay.
He was found dead 24 hours after she was.
I think she was found deceased on the 4th, and I think he died on the 5th.
Yeah, he had the file.
But this is the thing. The initial reports, and comes from the Oklahoma and the paper of record in Norman, Oklahoma. A gun was found on a table across the room from the senator, from his body.
Okay.
It was washed,
but he was pronounced he committed suicide, didn't he? He was suicide.
Right. At first they said it was murder. The gun was found. Then they come back and they watched it. So there was no. He killed himself. Yet the gun was found across. Yeah. And we had confirmed, and we podcasted on this and broke news on it about a month ago or 6 weeks ago. She'd been to Oklahoma twice to meet with that senator. Okay. And
she went alone.
I know one other person who has the backup that is still alive, and I will absolutely never say who. The third person, I don't know who has it. I still don't know this day who has it. But I know that one of the persons that has it, well, her life is, I mean, she's on a hit. Yeah, there's been a lot of problems. And you can watch our podcast so much, y'all. You just really need to watch the podcast to get the meat, literally the details of everything. But she had 3 backups. Becky O'Donnell, it will be, we found this out about 6 weeks ago, that, okay, so we had been reporting Linda Collins had been in D.C. and she'd been in Arizona just prior to her murder, right? And in fact, she met with Tom Cotton, our senator in D.C.
And he confirmed that because when I went to the Republican
the weekend
function,
after her body was found, she was there. What Tom Cotton said.
Tom Cotton said she was in my office.
Yeah. Talking about Kathy Hall and CPS and them stealing Kathy Hall's granddaughter and child trafficking, right? So
Tom Cotton confirmed the content of the conversation.
He just said, we know he was with Kathy Hall because Kathy Hall's the angel mom. She's one of the nationally known angel moms, and we're very close with her. And we've seen the pictures, you know, I mean, we know. I mean, Tom Cotton didn't come out and say she was there investigating CPS one, but we know what she was doing there. And then she flew to Arizona and was there for about, a week, right? Then she flies.
Do we know who she
home
met with in
Little
Arizona?
Rock.
Do we know who she met with in Arizona?
We believe it was with that David Farnsworth guy. He's the one that's come out and said recently Linda Collins was murdered because of CPS. He's the one trying to expose CPS in Arizona. We tried to contact him. He's yet to message me back to interview. We don't know, but we do know for a fact she met with legislators in Arizona over government child trafficking. That we know for a fact.
All right. Now, someone in the chat is saying that. Now, I heard it reported that Senator Collins had been shot and had been rolled up in a rug and was left either outside of her home or inside of her home. Someone else in the chat is saying that someone close to her is saying that she was stabbed and tortured. Can you confirm exactly?
She was tortured and stabbed. She was stabbed 13 times.
She was. Okay, so
tortured.
And where did you determine that? Because I have seen virtually no coverage of this anywhere. I mean, it just initially in the aftermath of her death, it was stated that, you know, she had been shot, she was in this rug, and then, you know, maybe a week later her right hand, you know, woman was arrested on the way to the funeral.
Yeah. No, I mean, our several sources that we have that are very close to it all, who have come through and been right over time and time again. I mean, you know, they placed a gag order before they even ID'd her body, which is unheard of. It's illegal. It's against the law, but they did it. So, I mean, how else do you get information, right? People leak, people that have conscience. We had, thank God, you know, God had hindsight in this. We started this, like I said, in February. We built up credibility for 4 or 5 months prior to her murder. Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, when Linda Collins was murdered, Kathy Hall, right? Best friends with Linda Collins. Linda Collins was advocating for her. Kathy Hall didn't go to any legislator in Arkansas. She didn't reach out, and you know who she is. When Kathy Hall calls, people are going to pick up. I mean, they know who she is. She's a very well-known, nationally known angel mom. She didn't go to any legislator in Arkansas. She didn't go to the governor. She didn't go to national representatives. Guess who she came to? The JoJos. She found us and found out we had credibility, and she came to us, okay, to advocate for her, because Linda Collins had even told her, you can trust no one in Arkansas. Absolutely no one. That's how we got to know Kathy Hall. She was in Arizona. This is very important. Okay. And we just found this out about 5 weeks ago. Okay. She flew into Little Rock from Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. She was murdered about 36 hours later. Okay.
Okay.
She'd been to D.C., then Arizona. From Little Rock to Pocahontas, where she lived, is probably about a 2-hour drive.
From my house where I live, it's an hour and 20.
So it's got to be.
And then I'm about because you're coming up south,
We'll
northeast, maybe a couple hours.
Couple hour drive from Little Rock Airport, Clinton, National whatever, to Pocahontas. We're talking a couple hour drive. Guess who she called to drive from Pocahontas to the airport to pick her up and drive her from at late at night, like a 10 o'clock flight. She got off
10:30
at 10:30 at night to pick her up at the airport and drive her home to Pocahontas. Guess? Can you guess?
I'm going to say
Becky O'Donnell, the one that's in jail right now, being framed for her murder, is the one that brought her home. That Linda Collins called and said, "Pick me up from the airport, take me back to Pocahontas." Becky O'Donnell, and so we're supposed to believe 24 hours later, Becky O'Donnell, first off, tortures her, stabs her 13 times, okay, then supposedly is able to get her body out of her house. And first off, where's her defensive wounds? Like, I think when she was arrested, it was even that was all for drama. They did it while she was on her way to the funeral thing that weekend. We have confirmed, so that is a fact. Becky O'Donnell is the one who brought Linda Collins home from the airport. Okay. The breaking, this may all be breaking news to you all because you don't live here, but the people in Arkansas that follow us, they've heard this stuff before, but this is brand new. Supposedly we're to believe she was the only one in on it. We've been saying from second one, there had to have been two, they bare minimum 2 people, but maybe even 3, right? We have confirmed. I mean, we can't tell you who our sources are. All we can tell you is our credibility is good. And you can go back and look at our podcast and see how everything's played out from what all we've reported. I have absolutely confirmed. She's absolutely confirmed 100%. She was not drugged outside. She was carried outside.
There were no drag marks.
No drag marks. Okay. Now, what is the timeline of the murder as the police say it? And then does Becky O'Donnell have an alibi for the time that Linda was actually murdered?
Becky O'Donnell, no, but that's just it with the gag order. They won't even let Becky O'Donnell talk to her family right now.
Really? Okay.
No, they've done some more than shady stuff.
Investigative segregation is what she's on. She can only talk to her attorney. She can't talk to her fiance, Tim Loggins. She can't talk to her kids.
He was the one that went on Good Morning America initially. Yeah, Tim Loggins. And so we know for a fact that Linda Collins was carried out of her house.
Okay.
She weighed 170 pounds. This goes to prove what we've said from second one, from everything we knew about the crime scene and what they said had happened. And of course, we've had to take and sift through the lies and the rumors. And, the police have put out purposely, we've seen this scene, we do Voice on the Track. So we've seen where they purposely put out lies in order to muddy up the waters, to take people away from the truth, add confusion, where nobody can ever figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were already privy to that tactic. And so we've been sifting through. And she was absolutely 100% carried out. Also, I found out there was a guy. Okay, so she died. She was murdered. I don't want to get this wrong, but she laid there for a week before she was found. Okay.
Now that seems odd to me.
Listen to this.
This is our breaking news that we finally figured out. So it was like March the 28th that she was murdered, right? She's found on June the 4th. Okay, never forget that night. Never.
Wait, you mean you mean April 4th? You said she was killed in.
No, June the 4th. May the 28th.
So she was killed in May. Okay, I thought you said March 28th. I thought
her social media footprint ended on 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her last post was about CPS and falsifying DNA tests on people not DNA tests, but drug tests on parents, and saying they were positive for drugs in order for the government to take their kids when they really weren't positive for drugs.
Yeah, I'd heard that before. There was a woman who was convicted of that not long after Linda's murder. Okay, so we've got a couple of days where she's missing. She was a week where she's missing, and then
out in the sun in Arkansas, in the hot sun in June, right, for a week, and we're going, okay.
What about the neighbors?
Okay, that's just it. I went to her house. I was able to go finally to her house. I mean, get to this. And the whole time we're going, how nobody smell her? Like, I finally, 3 weeks ago tonight, I was taken by a certain person to her property, to her house. She lives in a neighborhood. And I'm going, no way nobody's smelling her. I'm informed also, had been informed prior to that someone came and actually mowed her lawn 72 hours after her murder, right? No way you can't not smell it, right? And I'm going, so we're talking behind the scenes going, okay, they took her from the crime scene and brought her back a week later when they wanted her to be found. There's no way nobody smelled this. I'm in her house. She's in a neighborhood. She's outside her driveway, outside her garage. No freaking way, right? I confirm, I find out. She was found with lime, covered in lime. Lime completely extinguishes smells. Lime, I explained in our podcast earlier tonight. Me and my family, we had a resort up until a few years ago. We had cabins, we had campground, blah, blah, blah. We had sewer system. It'd be Friday, everybody's coming to check in, right? And we got a big sewer problem and it stinks and people are wanting to grill out and this and that. And my husband at the time would make a flying trip to town to buy tons and tons of lime to cover the sewer smell, right? Lime was, I'm like, that's why the gardener didn't smell her. Yeah. When he was right.
Plus she was renovating the home that she was living in at the time. So there was wood piles outside. I mean, if you don't want your wood to get wet, you could have a tarp. So if you got something laying in yeah. I mean, if you're out there, something's covered with a tarp, there's construction going on.
She was covered in a tarp. Her body was covered in a tarp. Or was she wrapped in a carpet?
We were wrapped in a blanket and supposedly, yes, then covered with some kind of a tarp.
Okay.
That, I'm not going to say 100%. It was both or one or the other, but she was definitely disguised very well enough to where with things up against her tile for the home that they were going to put in there.
They thought it was just maybe a pile of wood or when they were gutting the house or something,
right?
So they wouldn't think that it was a person there. They just think it's part of the construction site.
Because not only that, I found out with Garner, and I found out about visits to the home. I'm not going to even go further than that, but there were visits to the home, at least 3, and these people didn't even. No, I mean, we've got people talking to us now. Okay, so people didn't smell her. They didn't.
But people were looking for Linda. I mean, clearly, when she just disappeared and she was no longer posting on social media, it alerted people to the fact that something had happened to her. Now, was there anyone at the time that considered perhaps she had been murdered because of the investigation that she was involved in? Did anyone talk about that?
But she was in Colorado, and Kathy Hall was screaming in the rafters trying to get somebody to go look for her. And it's interesting to note there's an ASA appointee that had intervened right before Linda Collins got murdered with Kathy Hall as kind of a handler. And Kathy Hall started reaching out to her after Linda and her were supposed to talk at 6:30 the night that Linda was murdered. By 10 o'clock that night, Kathy Hall's wigging out because she knows Linda's prompt. Kathy's the one that's all, Linda could be late here and there, but I mean, she doesn't not answer her phone. And they were scheduled to go on a local radio show that following Friday, right? And Kathy got contacted by the host and said, do me a favor, tell Linda we're canceling, we have flooding going on, whatever. She's like, I can't get a hold of Linda. This appointee of ACES, I'm not going to name her right now. We haven't yet since June. Well, timing's everything. She knows who she is. Who also had told her to get rid of me and AmyJo, that we were bad news and we would just destroy her case and whatnot. Anyways, this was in the aftermath of Linda's murder. We had just met Kathy online. Kathy came to us. But anyway, she reached out to her after the text and she's ignored. And then finally, okay, well, because she's like, do a welfare check, do something. So, because this is like 4 or 5 days later. And finally, this girl, Asa Hutchinson, our governor's appointee, says, well, I'll call to this. She just puts her off, right? Until the family finds Linda at the house by doing the deeper search a week later. So Kathy Hall is in Colorado, and at that time we didn't know her. It wasn't until Linda's murder brought a lot of people together, including Sharon Ellis, who you just plugged right when we were trying to figure out how to get on your show tonight, including her. God works in mysterious ways, and brought together a whole bunch of people to fight these people and stand up for Linda, and also expose what's been done to them and their the wrongdoings, beyond wrongdoings, travesties that's happened to these people. But no, Kathy Hall's the only one. Her family, I think. I'm not going to talk. I know things. I'm going to stop there on that. But it was her family ended up finding her. But no, Kathy Hall was screaming to the rafters.
Have you guys? Somebody's asking more about Tom Cotton. Have you guys tried to reach out to Tom Cotton to see if he would talk to you about this?
No, because we don't trust any authority in Arkansas. You want to know who we trust? We trust you. We trust Conscious Abe that you had on. We actually went on his show.
Indian Abe
He interviewed us for about 2 hours on Patriots Soapbox right after Linda Collins was murdered. And then we went on your network, Patriot News, with I can't remember who after that. So here's who we trust.
I think you were on with
pointing at
Pamphlet
Gal, maybe?
or something. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
We trust Donald Trump. This is who we trust. We can count on five. I'm telling you, in Arkansas, we trust no one. And Linda Collins knew. Kathy Hall knew not to. That's why she came to us, and we were more nobodies then than we are now. I mean,
you were talking to her, and then all of a sudden she just dropped off the grid.
But she reached out and found us. I mean, I didn't even know who she was until this happened. She found us. That's how, I guess, effective we were, more effective than we realized and well known. But since then, we've become a lot more well known. So much so that we had newspapers write hit pieces on us called lunatic conspiracy theorists.
Really?
After Linda Collins' murder. But everybody, yes. I'm telling you, Deep State went in full effect. We got black. Y'all do not know what we got hit for. Oh my God. And I'm telling you, there's no stopping us now because we were this close to just shutting it down. Well, and we were told that Linda Collins had been watching all of our podcasts. We didn't know that on the Boys on the Tracks. So this also has some Boys on the Track stuff involved in all this too. I'm telling you, what she knew was a vast. We couldn't get to it all in 10 nights.
I know for a fact she was maybe not like full force, but she was following Q.
Yeah, and she had been on Patriots Soapbox.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I saw her on PSB before.
So she had been watching all our podcasts. We haven't really exposed the connections we found with Boys on the Tracks yet because it's not time yet. It's not right to do it. We're not ready. But we do let it be known that there's a connection there too in all this. We were told the night her murder came out, if you don't shut your podcast down, y'all are next. This was a message.
Really?
Y'all are next. Oh God, yeah.
Who said that to you? Who threatened your lives?
Well, we don't say because it's
is it a powerful person or just a private individual or an anonymous person?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Both. Both. But I mean, I can tell you, and we say it like it's no big deal, and I know it sounds crazy, but y'all understand what we've been. My dog's been poisoned. I've had pills planted under my car. We've had power shut off twice podcasting. In fact, I think it's podcast 14 or no, it was the one before Linda Collins' murder. I think it was number 12 or 9. And we're sitting here
and it's a bright sunny day and the power goes out.
But we have batteries. We just open the curtains. We're like, yeah, they don't want you. Our phones are hacked. I've been followed. I got out. I'm a crazy bitch. I mean, you have to be crazy to do what we do, right? I mean, we are crazy as hell. No, I mean, we can't be all there.
Are you doing anything specific to keep yourself safe? I mean, besides just not caring?
and tell everything. And we go on record about once every 2 weeks, no more than every 2 weeks do we let go by that we say we're not suicidal, we love life, we're not addicted to drugs, alcohol, we're not in, we covered the gamut. We don't fly in small planes, we don't ride motorcycles, never been in one car accidents, don't intend to be. You know, so I mean,
I assume you ladies are armed as well.
Yes, she is. I'm not. Which sounds crazy, I know, and I'm a huge Second Amendment freak, like the biggest Second Amendment nut you'll ever meet. But
because you don't need a permit to carry concealed or unconcealed in the state of Arkansas. Doesn't matter what the Arkansas State Police say. Carry a freaking weapon.
Someone, Tammy C in the chat said that yesterday the prosecutor dropped out of the Linda Collins Smith case. Is that correct?
We're going to get to that. Yes, that's yes. And so
this is going through the staff on this case.
We've got 2 judges from the case so far. Would you like to fill in on that, AmyJo?
Okay.
Please tell us.
The very first, the judge that actually had her remanded without bail. He's dead now.
Well, how did he die?
On November 3rd. He
Arkansas.
He was found in his home. And
I don't know what natural cause is. It's either suicide or natural cause.
Did you see the links I sent to our thread?
There was so many. I didn't know which ones to include tonight, but I've got them.
He was. I think he should have had an autopsy because I don't think his death was witnessed. And
how old was he? How old was he?
I think he was like he might have been 60.
So not an old man.
No. And he actually replaced somebody who also died.
Oh, I wondered all.
Okay, we're on the 4th judge. We're on the 4th judge in this case. Is that correct?
Yes. So we had Judge Tom Garner. He's the one that had her put in lockup without bail. And then we had Harold Irwin. Then we had our Supreme Court, our Chief Supreme Court Justice Dan Kemp appointed a David Goodson, and out of the blue, with no real explanation, he recused himself, got out of it.
It sounds like they're trying to find the dirtiest judge that they can. They need to find someone who's going to convict.
And they're all friends with her ex-husband. This is the same county she had her divorce in.
These were all judges in the 3rd Judicial District, all of them. And Kevin King, he was a judge. He passed away after, I believe, was it shoulder surgery? And
surgery?
He was doing really well after his surgery.
I'm sorry. I mean, and
then he died. That was in January of 2018. And then Tom Garner took his place in February, sat on the bench in his place, and then he just died November 3rd.
That's insane.
It's right.
Okay.
I mean, look. Well, okay. And so you want some more breaking news?
Yes, please. And I just want to mention the newest judge in Kathy's case intends to retire after December 31st. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Becky's case.
Becky's case. Yes. But he's going to retire. So we're going to have a 5th judge if she isn't either convicted or completely exonerated by December 31st.
Okay, and let's not forget that this John Fogelman was the prosecutor during West Memphis 3. He prosecuted that case.
At the same time, Peretti, who we talked about earlier in the show, was Sharon Ellis and the death of her mother at Baptist Hospital, who did the autopsies on West Memphis 3. We're also now, fast forward 30 years later, we're podcasting on him and his corruption on another. I mean, we can't this is why, and I know, like, at the beginning, we get all, like, scattered around and jump around, but we can't help it, I guess, like, because if you're from Arkansas, you get it. If you're not, like, it's just, I mean, there's so much, you don't even know where to start in everything.
That's a lot to take in.
Everyone. It is a lot to take in. I also found out confirmed with 2 sources. This is a biggie. So, and then we'll get to Henry Boyce stepping down and why AmyJo believes, a lot of people that follow us believe that he really stepped down. But so there's a prosecutor named Joe Grider. Okay, he's a deputy prosecutor under Henry Boyce, because Henry Boyce is the prosecutor, right? Who, by the way, is running for judge right now.
Yes,
okay.
Henry Boyce is was running for a judge for the 3rd Judicial District.
So there's and typically, and we haven't been in the courtrooms, this is sources who confirm who've been there, and then sources from other things, but who have actually been there. This Joe Grider's been at he was definitely, I know for a fact, the last court hearing, and I believe at all of them. If he wasn't, I know he was there time before last for sure. Anyways, Joe Grider, that's a deputy prosecutor on the case, who technically they could appoint, because as we've heard, Henry Boyce just recused himself the other day out of the blue. Didn't even put it in a motion.
It was verbal.
It was a verbal, like, hey, judge, I'm off the case. And the judge accepted it, which is insane, unheard of. There's no motion to recuse the judge and then submitting an order. I have a paralegal background, so this helps me in this stuff. And everybody's outraged. ABC wrote an article on it. That this just got even weirder. If you thought you had questions before, it just gets weirder, right? So I found out this Joe Grider was this confirmed 2 sources. First one on the scene after the call-in, a finding of Linda Collins' body prior to law enforcement officers or anyone. And I am told on very, very, very good word, I have no proof of it, but very good word, and I can promise you and assure you our word on everything else has been good and turned out to be good, that he tampered with that crime scene before the police officer got there. Yes. And
can you tell us in what manner? Can you tell us in what manner the crime scene was tampered with?
I cannot tell you that right now. All
Okay.
I can tell you is that's as much as I can tell you so far.
Okay.
But that he tampered with the crime scene. I've got this from 2 sources, 2 solid sources. And even supposedly that, I mean, who knows? But as far as they're aware, even people like Henry Boyce didn't know this guy did this order, which I find that hard to believe, because it's a cover up and they're all in on it. But I 2 solid sources, he tampered with the crime scene before anyone showed up. How did he get there first, by the way? He's a deputy prosecutor. They called 911. So how is he getting there? How does he even know? Was he got a scanner? Like, who tipped him off? Like, what? That's weird. I mean, 911 was called.
How many prosecutors do you know show up at a crime scene?
I mean, I can
That's
see
very
on
unusual,
center
yeah.
Very unusual. And this was a deputy prosecutor.
Somebody if you're in the live chat, tell us if that's even normal.
And when people call 911,
well, we're going to be opening.
The prosecutor doesn't answer the phone.
We're going to be opening up the calls here in just a minute, ladies. So why don't I tell people how the calls are going to work? We can keep going. You can keep dropping your facts, but people are going to be calling in and asking questions about this specifically. Okay. So just so everybody's aware, we use Zoom. If you have not called in on Zoom before, it's an application. You have to download it on your phone. What you're going to do is, as you call in, you just click this link that I'm going to drop in the chat box, and then that will bring you in. You can either be on camera or just voice. If you have not signed up for a Zoom account yet, or you've already done it before and you put your real name in, your real name is going to show on the screen. So if you don't want your real name to show on the screen, please make sure you change your name first. Also, if you're going to be calling in with the phone number, then your phone number will display on the screen. I highly suggest everybody just use the application and dial in on their smartphone. Everybody gets 2 minutes. Please get your question or your comment out for the JoJos, and then we'll have them answer it. And we've got 30 minutes starting now. So let's go ahead and drop this in. I'm looking forward to hearing what the audience has to say. I know people have a lot of questions. Blessed Hope says chemtrails still happening here in Tucson. Crazy. I don't doubt it, and that's too bad. Thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate it. So, getting back to this, it is pretty unusual that the prosecutor might show up to the crime scene. The only reason that I can think that it might halfway make sense is because she had been a lawmaker. However, she wasn't currently a lawmaker.
But here's the thing, 911 was called first, so it wasn't like law enforcement said, "Hey, get a hold of the prosecutor and get him down here."
Yeah.
He shows up. He knows to be there before even the sheriff's department or the local police department gets there, and he's not even he's deputy prosecutor, and boys step down. Remember, so are they going to try to appoint Grider, who tampered with the crime scene? I mean, this, y'all, we won't even be able to get to all the abominations going on in this case tonight, and or anything else we were going to talk about. I don't think, because I guess we didn't realize how much information we have, because we talk about this every week. So
sure,
it's insane. It's insane.
All right, you guys. If you didn't see the link in the chat box, I did just add it into the description of the video. So if you need to refresh your screen, last night for some reason the link wasn't showing up in there. But please continue. I mean, was this your first major case, or did you start off looking into the Boys in the Tracks case? Is that where it all started?
Tracks in February, yeah. We had that platform to spin off of when Linda Collins got murdered. I mean, we were already had a momentum going.
But this is a thing. I guess you're not allowed to have an opinion around here, because I had mentioned in one of the groups I'm in, or used to be in anyway, that I was surmising that there was a connection between Senator Nichols'
just a day or so after the murder,
and then Linda's murder, and they jumped my what.
This is a Facebook group.
Powerful, a person that ran for governor jumped that we supported. Yeah, oh yeah, it's a Facebook group.
If you have a difference of opinion, fine, but you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. But agree to disagree. Why do you feel the need?
Why do you care what we say if we're so crazy? And let us do it. Yeah, no, if we're so incredible. I mean, why write a hit piece? I mean, we're that incredible that you got 2 hit pieces that you team up with a news organization to write about us, to discredit us. Well, apparently we were that effective. It was not easy.
That sounds familiar. I mean, it's just like the situation with Q. Why would all the mainstream media outlets go after it if it's not credible?
All for a LARP. If Q's just a LARP, why are you attacking? If we're just conspiracy theorists, why do you keep going like the Energizer Bunny trying? And it's everything it's like everything we surmise. That's what I was telling it during the podcast we just recorded. This is like a scientific experiment. The first step is you form a hypothesis, right, and then you do experiments, and you do your research to see if that supports your hypothesis.
Exactly.
If it doesn't support it, then you just go away with the hypothesis.
Yeah.
But everything that all the evidence and people that are coming out of the woodwork to talk to us, it just keeps concreting more and more our hypothesis. But yet people just keep attacking
corroborate everything we say. And for 2 nobody Arkansas mamas who this one's starting life over and living with I had to move in with her parents with her 11-year-old daughter. Her daughter's over here watching, they're excited. For us to have garnered the credibility, the loyalty that we've earned, the respect that we've earned, the trust that we've earned with people, for us to be the one with the biggest gag order in probably the state of the whole entire union, much less Arkansas, right, on this murder, and yet we're still able, finally. I mean, it's taken, months and months, but yet we're the ones coming out with the truth, okay, and have been consistent this entire time. Our sources have been consistent from beginning to. We're not afraid to admit if we get something wrong. We're the first one, but we don't want to get anything wrong. We want the truth.
You have some integrity and say.
But thus far, we haven't gotten anything wrong. In fact, what we've seen in the news with the huge bust with the Arizona attorney Okay, remember Lona Collins was there, the one that got like 25 or 50. You know, it's a big stretch. Can't remember on the Marshallese, the felony counts over the Marshallese women. These were being handpicked by him and some other people that had to do with Northwest Arkansas at the Marshall Islands and preying on pregnant women, bringing them over to Northwest Arkansas. That's Fayetteville Walmart Corporation headquarters. I mean, literally the most evil entities and everything's come from Arkansas. But in the Fayetteville area where Asa has his law group that has to do with China, that's a whole nother story for you. You're going to want us on another time we got so much we can tell you.
And Conduit News broke that one.
Yeah, but Paul Harrell, we give him so much credit. He's the only one we trust in the state as far as news media goes. He's the only one we consider. Okay, well.
So I'm not familiar. Yeah. I'm not familiar with this Marshallese case that you're talking about. Were they bringing women in? Wow, was it like birth tourism? Like they would bring them in to have the babies, so then the babies would be citizens?
It's an international human trafficking case that broke. The story broke 2 months ago with Paul Peter. You didn't hear about Paul Peterson?
Paul Peterson was
national news.
He was the state auditor in Arizona, and he had this adoption racket where they were bringing Marshallese Islands children in to Arkansas, and I think Utah and Arizona were. It was probably more stationed out of Arizona.
Oh,
that's where
I did hear about this. I did hear about this.
This is the thing. This is the thing.
Being lied to.
The same judge that was instrumental in having Kathy Hall's daughter illegally adopted by this family that is now living in Wisconsin
and sold to a Walmart executive.
She was she's the only family court judge. So she could be the only one that's facilitating these illegal adoptions. These Marshallese women, as I understand, if they're having a tough time, they'll let their children go stay with somebody, a family member or a friend, but they're always still allowed to be in their lives. They just want their child to have a better life. So, they're bringing these children over, these mothers.
Like,
they're having their babies, and then they get adopted out.
And put 10 women in a living room on the floor to sleep on until they have it. And by the way, they only arrested the Paul Peterson from Arizona. Zak Keys, who is in Asa Hutchinson's previous position, where he was 82 to 86 as U.S. attorney, he got out and did a press conference, and I can't believe you didn't hear this. Of course, there's so much that goes on, but he said, as far as we know, no one else knew it was going. Are you kidding me? The doctors don't see.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, clearly there was a ring of people. Ladies, we have our first caller. Robert's on the line. Robert, are you there? Robert, not hearing anything on your end, Robert. Well, we've also got JD that just jumped on the line. Looks like JD's microphone's not set up yet. But as far as this case is concerned, has there been, you said there's been one arrest so far, that's it? The case
I think that there was one, Paul Peterson was arrested, and I think the women that kind of
facilitated. Oh, the woman that handled the money and deposited it in an account that was going through a Florida account. She was arrested, but no doctors, no judges. I mean, stop.
Now,
I'm not stupid.
I will. I'm not going to say the doctors. I don't think that they were. There were some doctors and nurses working labor and delivery that were cold calling and saying, something's not right here. You got the same ethnicity children, just like a revolving door. They're delivering these children. Mm-hmm. And so they started getting suspicious. But you can't tell me that up in Washington County, where I believe this all took place, that the social workers, the caseworkers, the DHS attorneys, the people that facilitate the adoptions, you can't tell me they didn't know something was going on.
This is the same county Kathy Hall's daughter was murdered brutally by an illegal, which caused the complete shut. That's what caused the state to finally take Kathy Hall's granddaughter from her, was Haley dying. Okay. And that guy was a former Walmart executive. As soon as they adopted that child. They fled the state and went to
Wisconsin. Kenosha, Wisconsin is where they are right now.
And there's Kathy Hall. That's a whole nother story for another day. There's so much, y'all. And I mean, I know we skipped around a lot at first. I'm sorry. It's just.
We've also got JD still on the line, but JD, I'm not hearing anything from you, buddy. You have to set your microphone. If you're calling from a computer, you have to go into the settings and you have to tell Zoom which microphone you want to use. I believe you have to do the same thing if you're on a phone. But JD, looks like you got your microphone working. Are you there?
Yeah, I think so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Yeah, so you're on the air with the JoJos. What's your question or comment?
Well, I've been watching you for quite a while. I think I started watching you, and quite frankly, probably around the same time after the election, and you're doing a great job, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
JoJo, one of the Joes needs to get a firearm. The other one sounds like they got everything taken care of. But I know I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and I don't live there now, but I've been to Arkansas quite a bit. Yeah, I've been to Arkansas quite a bit, and it is a different state as far as law enforcement goes. And I mean, you say no more about say no more about the Clintons, right? You know? So
Right.
it's the Arkansas Mafia. I guess my question is how did you get so involved? Because I jumped in like in the middle because I just got the notification. But how did you get so involved?
Honestly,
are you friends?
Well, yeah. In fact,
Go
we
ahead.
told this story. We told our, and I think people were getting impatient with us, so we're not going to retell it again because we were trying to tell who we are and where we came from.
I'm so sorry.
We were
I'm sorry.
No. I think at the end of this, can't he just go back and rewatch the link from the beginning?
Yeah, JD, you'll be able to watch the replay after this.
So that everybody else would have to rehear it. And
We've
I
comment section of a radio program.
Well, I was on a radio show doing a women's power panel every week, and she was like a huge fan, and I was like, oh my god, I love this girl, and that's how we met. And then I got her on the radio show, and then we got kicked off because we were too truthful.
Well, JD, I think it's also worth mentioning. It's also worth mentioning that Shelly-Jo's former father-in-law was the U.S. attorney for Arkansas and was deeply involved in some corruption there. So she might not have realized it at first, but that kind of set her on a path to get into this.
Yeah.
He was also involved
definitely.
in spearheading the fake war on drugs in the South, and he was the head honcho in that. I learned this back in January, made my stomach turn. It was all about racism at the end of the day, the war on drugs. It was over Arkansas, Texas, Mississippi, Oklahoma.
Are we talking?
If you Google,
are we talking about like opium, heroin, mainly?
We're talking about crystal meth. I mean, cocaine. Then it turned into the crack epidemic. And then remember the crack epidemic of the 80s? This all started in Arkansas with Barry Seals, Iran-Contra, and all that. The cocaine. Then they started deleting it, making it into crack. They start. U.S. Attorney's Office. If you'll Google Bob Govar, my name's Shelly-Jo Govar, and that's G-O, B as in Victor, A-R. It's my daughter's grandfather, and ex, and he died a year and a half ago. That's why I'm free to talk now. But he is Clint machine, government mafia, like you would not believe. But if you Google Bob Govar and friendsofjustice.org, you will read the craziest story about my father-in-law you've ever read in your life about the war on drugs and what really went down and how they flooded purposely the crack cocaine into black neighborhoods, got them all addicted, then came back and arrested them for this and that. Then for the Clinton crime bill and the Clinton
that was a big nation.
That was huge. We all know that
was a big nation. That was nationwide back in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, listen, JD, we've got two more callers on the line, buddy, so we're going to move on. But thanks for calling in.
Get to the other callers. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you, bud. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, JD.
You too.
Yep, bye-bye. All right, up next is Aaron. Aaron, go ahead and unmute. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. If I was doing any better, of course, I'd be you.
Of course, of course. Thanks for calling in again. What is your question or comment for the JoJos?
Well, a great show. I want to say you girls are heroes. You're so brave to do this. And so thank you so much for keeping after these deep state.
Oh, thank you so much. We don't see, we got our two little girls right here. They're the same age and they're watching us, and they've got it muted, but they're watching us, and you can't see them. But that you want to thank somebody, thank those two girls, because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Maya Jo Govar, if it wasn't for her daughter Jordan or her other children, we wouldn't be doing this. I promise you,
because we don't
for their future.
Yeah,
that's what our jobs are as
anybody
parents.
else's kids.
Make the world a better place for your kid. We're the adults, and that's what we said. Nobody's stepping up, and God laid this opportunity in front of us, and it's like, if we don't do it, who else is gonna? And we said, if we're gonna do it, we got to be fearless. We're not gonna live our lives in paranoia. And people said, you need to get this on your phone and this you can have. I'm like, I don't care what they see on my phone. I don't care what they read on my phone. Like, I'm not gonna and I don't. We don't look over our shoulder, and we've had things done. But if you want to thank anybody, really thank God. And thank God that he gave me, Shelly-Jo Govar, this precious 11-year-old Maya Jo Govar, because she's the reason I breathe. And thank God for Jordan over here. Okay, Jordan Freeman, who's Amy Jo Govar's daughter.
Amy Jo Govar?
Amy Jo Freeman. Amy Jo Freeman's daughter. And thank God for Amy Jo's other kids, because I'm telling you, we're not for my child. I promise I wouldn't even be on this planet anymore after things I've been through. So but thank you very much. Thank you. That was almost made me cry.
It's nice to hear those kinds of comments, because we're kind of getting sick and tired of you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a lunatic, you're garbage, you're nobodies. It's just every once in a while.
But it's very, I understand. It hurt for a while. We're human. But it's
water off the duck's back.
Yeah, we're off to the races. Nobody can stop us now. But thank you. That was very hard. That meant a lot. But we just want to know that's who we.
Go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're very welcome. And, I'm sure you have the full armor of God. And I can just picture you girls, dressed up like Batgirl or some superheroes. And because really, you're doing good work, just like Red Pill too. I lived in Rhode Island many years ago, back before the turn of the century, and an ex-nun ran for office, and she cleaned house because the government of Rhode Island was running the Boston mob and the New York mob.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
we got the Dixie Mafia down here.
Yeah, we're Dixie Mafia.
This ex-nun ran for
office.
office.
Showtime show that sounds so similar called Brotherhood. It got canceled. I think it was Showtime, and it was good, but it was about Rhode Island and the mafia and all that stuff we're talking about. I know it's Hollywood, but still,
they found that
it's very reminiscent of here too.
The Supreme Court judge was found to have 39 years linked to the mob.
I don't doubt it. Aaron, I back in high school, I used to date a girl who lived in Providence, and she said that the lines in the street were the colors of the Italian flag. Yes.
I worked at Hasbro.
That's so cool. All right. Well, Aaron, thanks for your call again, buddy. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Take care. Bye-bye.
And we'll see you. Bye-bye. All right. Coming up next is PQ Media. PQ Media, how are you, my friend? Oh, unmute.
There you go.
There we go.
I missed a great deal in the center, so I apologize. I was wondering if you covered the bar connection with Nina, because he has a lot to do with it, and I always wondered whether or not he's really going to be an honest broker, because he has a lot of. If you read some of the crap he said about the Clinton, like Bill Clinton, he's a whole, like whatever he said about Bill Clinton, he said that he's perfect presidential material. I'm like, this is the guy we have now running our. So I'm always wondering whether or not he's really going to say or do anything, or if he's going to be the knife in the back of Trump eventually.
I understand what you're saying there. Personally, I always thought that Barr back in those days, he was he was operating within the confines of the machine at that time. I mean, George H.W. Bush was still the kind of person who could get you killed. And he was the attorney general for him. So, ladies, have you done any research on Bill Barr since?
I actually found there is I took a screenshot of Bill Barr in this MENA-related video, and he apparently was back there and under working like with Ollie North, and that's
yeah. Here's what we put this in every podcast. We make this very clear, and we made it was very clear to us. It was an epiphany to us right after Linda Collins' murder, right out of the gate. We podcast that first time. It was a tough day in our post podcast video for Facebook, but here's how it's gonna all go down. All right, so the only way the deep state goes down, there's no real like smoking gun, like, oh, we get you in a court of law, this and that with the Clintons. They flip, like no further than the mafia, because y'all got to understand, this is what our government is. They are the mafia, right? Mm-hmm. So how did Rudy Giuliani take down the mafia in New York City back in the 80s, right? In the 90s or whenever that was. I've got my dates. I had a long night, but it's people flipping on people, right? Mm-hmm. You tattle and you tell, okay, to save your own ass. Once you're pushed up into a corner, you get scared. You're not this big. What we figured out in Arkansas, the Clintons and all, they're the pussies. They're the cowards. When somebody actually stands at and is loud like we are, and we call them thugs in suits, and we're the ones that scare them now, because we're the ones shining a light of truth on them. These people, they're cowards. The Clintons are nothing but cowards. Asa Hutchinson, our governor, so-called Republican governors, at that, cowards. Turf Lane, accused for murder twice, and as our drugs are right now in Arkansas, coward, okay, right? He's supposed to be one of the most dangerous people in Arkansas. We're not scared of any of them, and they know this.
You know what I'd like to point out, and many people in the chat have pointed out, there is over 1,000 sealed indictments in Arkansas still. So if you're thinking,
I'm getting to,
yeah,
right. And the reason those, and there's a couple 100,000 across the nation, and everybody keeps saying, why can't they just unseal them all?
That's against the law to unseal them until.
Well, number one, if you unseal them in Arkansas, we're uncivilized at that point, because I can promise you our governor's going to be in them. Okay, he's in one of those indictments. Literally, every judge just about in this state. There will be no one in charge of this state. It will be a free for all. So, right, you got to think about the logistics here. Not to mention, our judicial system can't handle in Arkansas even 1,000 federal indictments all at once. I mean,
it has to be done in a measured form. PQ, you had another point?
And people are flipping.
What about there's another part. You kept saying Trust, forgot his name.
Trust Ray?
Ray.
Yeah.
Ray being that, during the whole Arkansas nonsense with the one that supposedly committed suicide off in the thing in Washington.
There's been so many. I don't know which one.
The one
Seth Rich was a murder, not a suicide.
No. My brain. I should have wrote that out. No. But the guy who.
We're having a hard time hearing him.
His lawyer, Clinton's lawyer.
Vince Foster. Yeah, Vince Foster.
Thank you. And you said
double tap.
He was the lawyer who went and sort of kind of tried to destroy the testimony of the confidential witness. That was Ray. Ray went and destroyed that man. So I'm wondering how much in the bag or in the tank is he in that situation there too.
I don't know. Have you ladies ever come across any information on Christopher Ray in terms of connections to Arkansas?
No, that's the first I've heard about it.
Was
it his earlier life before he was the FBI director?
Yeah, he's the current FBI director.
Every documentary I watch on that one, they bring up Barr and Ray, and I'm like, why is no one else mentioning these guys?
I'm going to look into it now. Well, listen, PQ, we got one more caller on the line, and we got 7 minutes left. Thank you for your call, sir. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye-bye. Laser Troll is on the line, and you are unmuted, buddy. Are you? Oh, you just muted yourself again. You should be unmuted now.
I was trying. Trying to unmute.
That sounds like us.
There you go. It happens. It happens. Laser Troll, you're on the air with the JoJos. How are you, buddy?
Hey, it's a pleasure.
Glad to be here with you.
Yeah, I had a question about what about appealing to a higher jurisdiction for maybe a change of venue? Has that been put through maybe?
Change of venue for the Rebecca
murder?
Donnelly case?
Right.
Oh God, the Arkansas State Police have already had their hands in it, and the county that's over this murder, they don't want it going nowhere because they're covering it up.
And
Yeah.
They don't want
So
to
there would
change
be
it.
no way
Not
for
to
feds to
mention
just
the fact-
impose their
not to
way
mention the
in because the
Nothing.
system's corrupt or something?
Well, I don't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what county it would go to that wouldn't have some kind of a roadblock because everybody knows everybody, and
It's all going to explode, and they know it, and they're panicking. And Henry Boyce, he recused himself, right, Reptile? And this is the one thing I wanted to get to for sure before we split with you tonight. That was the breaking news with ABC that I woke up to yesterday morning, day before, right? That he recused. Here's the funny thing. Well, it's not funny, but over the Thanksgiving holidays, I get approached by a family. Their son, his name was Chris Robinson. Okay, the dad's Billy Robinson. I think the mom's Marcia. I can't remember. But anyway, great. Nice family. And their son was murdered, gunned down and murdered in June, about a week or two after Linda Collins' murder this year. He was shot in the back. I mean, the autopsy report's been released, so they've already screwed that cover up. He was shot in the back and in the chest. It was his girlfriend or on and off girlfriend, and I believe her ex-boyfriend at the time, who they believe lured him to the house. There's a whole lot more to it, so I'm not going to go into detail. But they have had it with the police ignoring them, and guess who else ignoring them? Henry Boyce, because it's in his jurisdiction. And they know who did it. They know who shot him. They admit, they told him. The guy told him he shot. And they questioned that night, let him go. Nope, he shot in the back and the chest. The crime scene, according to the dad, was staged. They've yet to even release his personal belongings to his parents, his cell phone, his clothes, everything on him that night when he died. This is December. And they're saying the case is still open, yet the only two people that were there besides their son that got murdered is the girl and the guy who admitted what happened. Okay. And they're not doing anything. And he reached out to start for help. And I told him we would absolutely do everything we could. Now, I want to this is where it takes me to the point of why we believe, and several other people that follow us believe that, us are the reason Henry Boyce resigned. We do the boys on the track, or recused. I keep saying resign in our podcast. I mean recused. I know the difference. It's just a word thing. I keep getting mixed up. But our boys on the tracks case. So that we talked about earlier that we're on. So Ron Dane, I want to plug him, by the way. He's excellent. If you want to learn about boys on the tracks, besides us, Ron Dane, he's got, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of views. He does documentaries and movies on the boys on the tracks all the time. He's coming out in new stuff all the time. He watches our podcast, As the Men. Linda Ives, Kevin Ives was one of the boys on the tracks killed that night. We're very good friends with her, very close to her. That's who we advocate for, talk to her almost daily. She's friends with him now too, really good friends. He just completed a 4-hour documentary called, and I don't know if you remember the movie Tom Cruise started in 2017 called American Made. But he called it American Remade, the real story of Barry Seals. He sent it to me, I believe it was Monday night, said, "You're going to want to see this. I just dropped it. It's my brand new movie." I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." So the next morning, I started watching it. Y'all need to, it's American Remade. His name's Ron Dane, Bass Productions, something like that. Carnage on Ice, that kind of thing. You can look on YouTube to find him. But anyways, I started watching it, and I decided it came up to the point where that infamous video that we played in our podcast where Clinton was asked by, was it McClendon, that hard-nosed lady in the press corps back then in the 90s, and she said, asked him about Mina and Oliver North, and the CIA and the bowling amendment and all this stuff and the drug running going on. And Bill Clinton says, point blank, he never denies MENA. He acknowledges it happened, but he puts it off on the U.S. attorneys at the time, who was none other than our governor now, Asa Hutchinson, as we pointed out earlier. So I'm recording it for a Facebook video. So I'm recording about 15 minutes in. I turn it down and I start telling everybody what they're watching. Towards the end, I said, we've had a holiday break. We're going to get back on it. I've got a new murder case. We've taken that. I've got a family. It's the Robinson family. I said, I'm not going to go a lot into it because it's very fresh to me now. But I will tell you that Henry Boyce is one of the ones, is the main prosecutor over this county in regards to this particular murder. And we're going to dig into it hard, just like we have been, and go hard after him, like we have in Linda Collins' murder. I dropped the video on Facebook on Tuesday. Now, mind you, they all watch everything we do. That's no secret whatsoever. It's crazy, right? But it's true. And we know this for a fact. But not even 36, 48 hours later, bam,
he's gone.
My phone up.
Listen, ladies, I'm so sorry, but we are at the top of the hour, so we are out of time. But that's awesome that you were able to get that judge out of there based upon your persistence in this case. I want to thank you both for everything you're doing to shine a light on the sewer rats in Arkansas. Laser Troll, thank you for your call. Hey Jude said, I just heard from Ben Garrison. He said he's going to drop you a line in the email. I'm looking forward to having Ben Garrison on the show. That would be cool. Erica Jill says, such an important story. Thank you all for getting it out and never giving up. Thank you to these ladies right here. And Lawrence Stoll says, keep it up. Thank you so much to the JoJos for joining me.
Can I just real quick tell everybody how to find us on YouTube and Facebook?
Please go ahead.
On YouTube, please go to our page. We have we just recorded 26 podcasts tonight. It'll be uploaded on YouTube in the next few days and on SoundCloud tomorrow. On YouTube, you can find us under JoJo's for Justice. Please go and subscribe to our channel and like it. It's JO-JO''S for Justice. On Facebook, we have a Facebook page. We just started. Same thing, same spellings for justice. On Facebook, my personal name to reach out to me. If you know anything, if you want to help us with research, we always welcome that. Reach out, message me. I'm Shelly-Jo Govar on Facebook, SHELLYJOGO, V as in Victor, AR. She's Amy Jo Freeman, AMY Jo Freeman on Facebook. On Twitter, our handle, I'm at Jo Govar. She's at 10CSH Veteran. And on SoundCloud, if you don't want to watch our podcast on YouTube and you just want to listen, every single one of them are on SoundCloud under USPC. And we do work for what's called the United States Patriot Commission. And that website's USPatriotCommission.com. And the people that are members are people like us, everybody just wants truth. And it goes towards funding our podcast. And it's $5 a month to be a member, USPatriotCommission.com. And if you can't afford that, share our stuff. That's the most important thing, getting the truth out. That's what we care about.
Absolutely. And you girls are doing a great job. So everybody, if you didn't hear it, if you didn't get it right now, then you can always go to the description of the video. The Twitter accounts for these ladies are in there, as well as the link to their YouTube. Thank you both for being.
We would like to come back and talk Boys on the Tracks and some other stuff that I know y'all would be.
Definitely. We'll do that. We'll do that next time. But thank you both for being here. Thank you, everyone in the audience, for sticking with us. Still over 2,000 people at the end. I do appreciate it. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.